Today I will talk about hydrogen and different method of production of hydrogen. And basing on article on form of a recent number of energies entitled Perspective on the Development of Technologies for Hydrogen as a Carrier of Sustainable Energy. The work is written by Dr. Bieszko, Professor Evgeny Ganev from Bulgaria Academy of Science and Institute of Chemical Engineering. The work is said that due to its hydrogen is very prospective, due to no emission of carbon dioxide during combustion because it's produced under water. And that is a big advantage. Unfortunately, mostly by conventional fuel, which your production emits much carbon dioxide. Therefore, we need to find adapted method, and we can transfer, for example, water splitting from electrolysis to the sources of current from renewable sources energy. Therefore, traditional electrolysis and methane increases methane reforming, which is another source, produces hydrogen. Yes. And this is hydrogen. Hydrogen is initially how it was discovered, and discovered was by Lord Cavendish in 1766 and was confirmed in 1783 by Lavoisier, who lost during change his experiment was some tooth, and name was hydrogen as being water. And this is one method source as common of hydrogen. And attractiveness is wide due to wide variety of methods for hydrogen energy production is being thought to be very good and 3 times, 4 times better than traditional one. And in hydrogen strategy was issued, for example, by Europe in 8 July 2020, which confirmed Paris Agreement from 2016 to leave neutral, carbon neutral Europe by 2050. And this is forming some advantages and some challenges. Some of us, hydrogen production for fuels needs to be restricted and limited to this not emitting and much carbon dioxide or zero emitting. And this first application hydrogen in transport is provided as hydrogen for the fuel and is produced. An enormous problem of biofuels, mainly from biobutane, bioethanol, is that still most of this produce more emission nitrogen oxide and carbon monoxide than traditional fuel. Of course, there is process which makes better, and also They are tends to use nanoparticles in, for example, Karanja and some other. And these mm, and algas. And this is from, and another is problem is storage, and liquid hydrogen is requires much energy, and or in case of hydrides, large high temperature to keep this. And this requires much energy that we found some less better storage methods. First is using water splitting, and if it's dependent of the source of current, if it's renewable or not. If current comes from renewable energy sources like wind power and solar power, it's fine. But if not, is not cannot be thought as renewable, but is quite efficient. However, water as from the compounds have high energy splitting, so more easily it's to produce from ammonia, volatile acid, than from water. And this is the trouble of water. And some is therefore is applied water as or ammonia, nitrogen oxides are practically absent in the soil is fine to use. There is a fewer tanks and hydrogen fuel cells were used to provide electricity for rocket and shuttle in spacecraft. Firstly, now are transferred into daily life, into cars, trucks, rail transport, and marine vessels. There are other. There is catalyst for hydrogen price. Is catalytic is very troublesome because there are many efforts to replace high expensive platinum or rare metals. For example, platinum dope with copper or chromium or something. But it's expensive, so sometimes by silica, sometimes it's in conjugated polymer, but conjugated polymer again produced from fossil fuels where metals, especially gold or silk and mining, all way of can produce many ways, especially when nowadays most gold present in market origin for illegal mining that causes much destroying of environment surrounding the illegal mining and especially rivers. And these in industry we have, for example, this industry hydrocracking, ammonia production. So this if we have ammonia rivers and so simple splitting, it would be reverse processing. And this is a mostly promising method. And this energy storage, I told, and ammonia because of big is suitable for storage more than others. The professor Source Ganev selected divided methods of hydrogen production. He didn't saw about biogas and hydrogen fermentation, which are slow. I don't know, he omit, because he or his focus only on electrolysis, which solar apparent power, and again was solar energy, which is repeating solar power. So they forget that is mechanical water splitting, which says because some photocatalysts are also splitting water by friction between themselves. So if two catalysts frict about it and the water is between them, then water can split due to this friction, but some few. And photocatalysis is opposite. So bioprocesses are not mentioned, however, are produced and can be. And no ever is pyrolysis, catalytic pyrolysis. However, there can be biomass pyrolysis also. The steam reforming methane is very cheap and high productivity. This is the reason. But still carbon dioxide much release, which is the trouble. And gasification of coal, cheap but less environment than another, and using fossil fuel, coal, gas, natural gas from methane is the trouble. If we can take methane from the biogas plant, it will suffer. The electrolysis uses solar energy. The electrolysis is using water current, and this is difference. Can be also high temperature electrolysis in 700 to 1000, but this for geothermal energy. And it is also mentioned about nucleus, so using nuclear energy to water splitting, and radiolysis by water because it close, for example, in nuclear plant, because due to water can split due to decay, and also mentioned, but not very highly recommended nowadays because not very seems to be non-safe. And this is show production rate by microbial electrolysis and produces only 0.6 to 1 instead of to 3. So low but suitable. For example, sample content of biogas, hydrogen production, and dairy foods, waste, domestic wastewater and food waste, and gives that domestic food wastewater was the most efficient one for that dairy industry. So this is show that microbial analysis can be applied, for example, after every, for example, sink in every house as initial pretreatment and some renewable recovery of hydrogen then, and can be this idea key. So these are methods of hydrogen production. Very few about biogas and dark fermentations. Because they have dark fermentation, photofermentation, anaerobic digestion, and there is that the biomass substrate can go to this route. So every part, dark fermentation, photofermentation, can be the hydrogen separated by pressure swing associated to have hydrogen, and then coming to anaerobic digestion and from biogas. It's forget that this hydrogen can be useful for anaerobic digestion for getting higher methane product percentage. So this is the gap in this article that not mentioned about this. And still, the compared by steam methane reforming with other processes of hydrogen production, and this is process efficiency is in case of steam greater than 64, while in documentation are obtained just 10%, so little here, so very little, and but not very likely to expand. And efficiency is lower than the highest is two-stage fermentation for photo documentation are digested to 27%, and this is slightly less than microbial electrolysis. So not mention the mixture, the combination of the three show is the highest. So this is the method mostly on basing on for fuel splitting less than bioprocessing, very few. It can generate so much this production, much workplace. So this is the promising for ecological economies. So this is all. Thank you very much for listening.